What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the Reseller Island podcast. My name is Shane, Soda City Flips, and with me today are one of my co-hosts.
Keith, Vintage Sport Flips. How's it going, guys?
We just did the same thing I did.
Yeah, I paused a little bit. Yeah.
And down below me, we have our guest, Alex Beard King Picker. Jake's off enjoying some special time with his wife out in Mexico. So
Nice.
we hope Jake's having a blast and doing well out there. He's been texting and jumping on first class treasures and stuff. And I'm like, dude, be on vacation.
Yeah, enjoy your vacation.
About us.
Yeah.
Well, but no, we hope
him.
Yeah, no problem. We hope Jake and Brindley are having a blast out there in Mexico, and hopefully Jake, Jake's got those plans to. I forget what he called it. That flea market's out there. He's got some
I forget the word for
that up. So yeah,
nice.
But yeah, Alex, man, welcome, dude. It's awesome having you on. Obviously,
yeah, glad to be on.
Used to do the Reseller Locker Room podcast together, and you're still doing that with Ben and CJ Benz Jefferson.
Yep.
So how's that going?
Good. We just recorded last night, so it was a good episode. It was fun. Nice. I don't know what they were talking about half the time, but it was still fun. My internet was so bad last night, I would get like every other word. So I know Ben ranted for like maybe a 30-minute straight about eBay sales, and then they were talking about food and stuff. So like halfway at the end of that my episode, my internet comes back in, so I'm kind of part of the podcast again at the end there.
Was that the one that released today?
Yeah, it came out today.
Okay, CJ Benz finds Jefferson.
Yeah,
dude, do something about that cough, bro. He was coughing so much during that episode. I'm like, man, is this dude sick?
I listened to half of it. I didn't hear the cough, but I heard a lot of you saying you couldn't hear the bad connection. So I didn't get to the part where your internet came back.
Well, I think I figured it out today. I run a VPN and I had it going to Germany for some reason, not the US. So I don't know if that kind of messed it up.
It's possible. I don't know.
Yeah, so
I wonder if I should run VPN here at the house, because I've thought about it, but I've never done it. Do you do it, Keith?
No. To be honest, I'm not technologically savvy. I'm not even sure what that is, to be honest. It's embarrassing to say, probably. But
it's just like a secure network kind of thing you can set up.
Yeah.
So like a lot of corporations have them, VPNs, for their their personal or their business computers and all that stuff. Protects all the softwares and assets and things like that. So
you can't hack your system, get your credit card information is easy. I had my credit card stolen, all my information, when I was doing OA for Amazon. That's why I stopped, because my freaking credit cards kept getting hacked. And then I wake up in the morning, have like $1,000 worth of Nike shoes on my card. I'm like, I didn't buy these. So yeah, I was like, I'm over this. I'm going cash business.
There you go.
Well, dude, that's kind of a good segue, mentioning Amazon. I know a lot of the viewers of this podcast may not know who you are. They probably didn't know who me or Keith was before we joined, because this is pretty much Jake and Sonny's audience. But tell us about your Amazon. I know personally, because you and I are friends, but a lot of people may not know what you got going on over there.
I started reselling on Amazon. I'm thinking like 6 years. I lose track of time how long I've been reselling now. And I did only books on Amazon for about 6 years. And then we got into heavily, this is the weirdest thing, we sold cat food. We would do $10,000 a month just in cat food. So I slowly kind of pivoted the business into online arbitrage and retail arbitrage. So we do a lot of toys, and then cat food, Nikes, Legos, all the top brands, ungated, and all of those. But I got bored. Like, I'm a picker. I like the treasure hunting aspect of reselling.
Yeah.
So I got bored of sitting on the computer sourcing. So I kind of let that go and came back to eBay. But now I'm mainly, I'd say 95% all books. So I specialize in rare and vintage books, antiquarian books. So
I think it'd be hard to walk away from $10,000 a month in cat food. I think I'd still be on my business model.
Well, we were on that listing for about 5 years, and we finally got booted from the listing. The Fancy Feast didn't want anyone selling anymore. We would buy cases of Fancy Feast, and we'd make a custom case. And Fancy Feast didn't want us doing that. We would take like two of every flavor and have our own custom Amazon, listing.
So you were
And
buying
so
it in stores like PetSmart and then repackaging it.
Dude, we used to go to Walmart and fill up the carts as singles. And people were like, "Hey, how many cats you have?" And I would just go, "Well, we don't have a cat, but we're planning. We're just planning ahead." So we'd have like 2 carts, me and my wife, full of cat food. People were like, "What the heck's going on here?"
Doomsday prepper for cats, I guess.
Yeah,
Right?
right.
That reminds me of a video I saw. It was either this morning or last night where like this dude was reacting to this chick filled her car, like she had like a SUV of some kind or like a minivan, and it showed her filling up the car with what looked like bags of chips.
Mhm.
I don't know what kind. I'm assuming some limited edition, but she filled it up, and video pans over, and here comes her husband with 2 more shopping carts full. And the dude's like, "Oh my gosh, what are they doing with all these?" And the answer is simple: they're reselling them.
Yeah.
But yeah, I could see somebody filming Alex and Bethany like,
Yeah,
"What the hell are you doing with all
we
this
used to
cat food?"
sell like Top Ramen was really good for a while there. We were killing it with Top Ramen.
Really, that
We did
stuff's so
grocery.
cheap as it is.
Well, I know we sell it for so much more money though. People are lazy. They don't want to leave the
Yeah.
house. They want it delivered to their door,
Do
That's
you ever
true.
make shorts of like just a cart full of cat cans and like
Yeah, I got
just
like
throw that-
old stuff on my Instagram when we were doing
Okay.
a lot of OA. It's like
Okay.
every day we would walk to the front porch and it's just full of boxes because
Yeah.
we're spending 30 to 50,000 every month on merchandise to do the numbers we were doing. So
Yeah.
we
That's
did that.
crazy.
We did that full time for about 2 years, me and my wife together, and then I pivoted just to get back into eBay. Like I was talking about earlier, my credit cards got hacked, and so I kind of just that's the reason I stopped. Really, I couldn't figure it out, so I just canceled everything. Killed my credit, but I didn't know what else to do. So
Yeah. And we've talked before on the podcast about like not having all your eggs in one basket. And I
Yeah.
guess that's even more prevalent for like Amazon because I know Amazon is sort of
Well,
like,
yeah,
it could go away quick, right?
Yeah, I preach that all the time. I mean, on the other podcasts, I preach that all the time. Like just last week or the beginning of this month, Amazon FBA lost the buy box. So they were putting FBM in the buy box and not FBA. So I had 300 books sitting there and I was selling like one a day. I dropped 50% in sales and like all the top sellers did too. Which imagine if you
Wow.
have a couple thousand books in Amazon and then you lose the buy box, like it costs $2 to get every book back. So I know some people that have like 6,000 books there.
And I used to be an Amazon seller. My wife ran that business, but we did only books. We had a couple thousand books with Amazon, and we got shut down when they had the whole like address verification.
Yeah,
where the legislation changed, and we went through the process, but they would not approve it.
Really?
Eventually, they shut the store down, and I had them send about 300 books back to me at like, I know you said like $2 a book. I forget what the cost was, but it was a hefty bill I got for the shipping.
Yeah.
But I never even. I've heard you talk about a buy box. What is a buy box?
So the buy box, when you first go on Amazon, you see the price. That's the buy box. People, you can search for cheaper options, but 95% of the people, or they're signed up for Prime, and they're just going to buy whatever Amazon's pushing in front of them.
Okay.
So that's what the repricer is just trying to get that buy box. You want to be in the buy box to get the sale, but fulfilled by merchant for like a month was just getting it instead.
I see.
And we're paying a premium to be able to get that buy box, right? Because we're paying $40 a month to be able to sell FBA and to send our products into Amazon and not have to do the customer service. So magically 2 days ago came back on and I sold 10 books in like an hour.
Oh, nice.
After having no sales for all month. It was weird. So
that's crazy. I've never sold on there. I thought about it. I even talked to Alex a little bit about it, but I never pulled the trigger. But yeah, Amazon's one of the easiest places to get shut down, right? As a seller.
Yeah, I went through the same thing Keith was talking about, but I got my account back. So, you can get kicked. You can get copyright claims. I would get Nike shoes sent back to me saying they were fakes. And they would be like an old pair of Nikes. And like, these are old. And I would eat the bill. Like they always decide with the customer over there. It doesn't matter. So the return rate on apparel on there is terrible. It's just people are renting your items pretty much. It feels like, and then return it. And you eat the cost on that. So you can't sell it brand new anymore. So if I'm buying Nikes for, 60 to $100, I'm eating that money every time we get a return.
I think I've been an Amazon Prime member since Prime became available. because shipping costs. That's the whole reason I signed up for Prime, and that's been what 15, 16 years ago probably. I bet I've returned 3 things in all that time of ordering on, and I order a lot. My wife and I both. She uses my account. We order a lot from Amazon, and it's not worth it to me. Most stuff on Amazon's fairly cheap. Like I buy a lot of expensive stuff. This microphone by Shure was like $500 or something. Like my camera, all this stuff I buy from Amazon. Via links from other people. I always try to get somebody who can send me a link so they can make some money.
Yeah.
But we just don't return stuff. It's not worth the time. Most of the stuff we buy from there is not very expensive, you know. My wife bought a wooden bowl recently. She was thinking it was like a 10 or 12-inch bowl, and it showed up and it was about this big around for like $16, and she's like,
item not as subscribed.
Yeah, that's what she's like. This is not what I ordered. So I looked, and it was what she ordered. She just didn't read that how small it was, and she was like, "Well, that's no good to me." So we returned that. But most of the time, it's not worth it. But since it was her money, and I had to go to UPS to ship some golf clubs anyways, I was like, I'll just drop it off for you. So we sent it back. Plus, I have all the packing materials, and it's not going to cost me anything extra, you know, to ship it. They send stuff in a poly bag, so I send it back in poly bags. It's that easy.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I would save money if my wife returned stuff because she could buy a book, read it in 7 days. That's like average of her reading a book, and then send it back. You know, we get their money back.
And if she's like me, I don't know about you. When I'm done reading a book, you can't tell it's ever been read. My wife, she reads a book, and I had one right here. I had one right here, but I moved it because she gives me every book she reads to sell.
Yeah,
and she had put one on here, but yeah, like it looks like it's been read 8 or 9 times, like by a child.
Yeah. I got I got collector edition, first edition books, and my wife knows she's not allowed to read my books.
Yeah,
because I open them and I read them, and then I just I don't crack freaking spine on them.
Yep, exactly.
But she's still pretty good with them, but she'll throw them in her purse, and you can get caught on something in your purse or whatever, and so.
Yeah, that's what Lindsay will put hers in her purse and stuff too, and she takes them everywhere. But she reads a lot. It's crazy. I used to be the big reader in the house, and I would read every night. I would make time to read.
Yeah,
and reselling kind of got in the way of that. I'll be honest with you. Like I've been focused more on YouTube, content creation as well, but that and reselling, and I don't have as much time to read anymore. And now she's picked it up, and which she's always liked reading, but she was never into it like me. It's like we swapped.
That's exactly what happened here. My wife was on her phone all night in bed watching YouTube. I'm like, and I'm sitting there reading a book. I'm like, why don't you read? Like, stop watching that, garbage. So she started reading, and now she hasn't talked to me for about 6 months.
Yeah.
So
I always have a plan to read at night, and then I end up having my phone in my hand, never put it down. You're on eBay sending offers or whatever, and then you're too tired for the book after that.
I've read one book this year, and she's on track to probably do like 60 books this year.
Oh wow.
That's awesome.
Yes.
I think I'm gonna somehow start a Crooked Spine book club. I thought that would be a cool idea to get people involved in the chat over there, because it's slowly growing. We're about to hit 100 members. But the chat channels aren't being used as frequently as I would like to see them. I want to see people interacting with each other and stuff. And I was thinking of ways that we could do that. And I think maybe doing a book club kind of thing, so just the members could be cool.
Oh, just in the chat then?
Yeah, just like, hey, let's choose a book. Let's, find a book, and whoever's interested, we could do a book club. We read it, over the next 30 days or something. And use, I'll create a chat channel called book club or something, and we can talk about it after each chapter or whatever. I thought it'd be a good way to get people involved.
Let's start with a Splatterpunk book and see how many people actually make it through the book, because I can't make it through them.
I've
read 2. You know what Splatterpunk is, Keith?
You told me about your friend who's the author. I've never read one, but no, it's they're very graphic, right?
Very, very gory, graphic. I I remember the first one I read was my buddy's, and first page, I was like, "What the am I getting into? This is ridiculous." And I even made a little review, and he loved it. Of course, he shared it to all his social medias, but I did like a 1-minute book review, and I think I even said I'm pretty sure this dude kills people for a living, or like he's a serial killer or something. But
that's what happened the first one I read. I called the FBI and gave them the author's name, and so you should go check on this guy. This is pretty dark.
It's a demented mind, right?
Yeah.
It's definitely not for the weak. That's for sure. Those books are nuts, man. But I've got 2 of them listed on Crooked Spine. If anybody's interested.
Which ones? What are they?
The Cuck.
Okay.
Which is, it's weird. And then the other one is, what's it called? I can't see it from here. I can see it from here, but I can't read it from here. Dang.
Well, Keith, we apologize. This is what happens when me and Shane get together. It turns into a book show every
time.
All good.
Well, that's a cool thing. Just your book club idea in general. The cool thing about District is how many different directions you could take District. I mean, you could do just a podcast over there, right? And like not even sell anything, but just engage people, build your marketplace up that way. So that's a cool thing.
Yeah, and that's also something cool, because like it could go as far as, I don't know if this would ever happen, but like my buddy's an author. He writes splatterpunk. I could bring him on and interview him live, right?
Yeah.
In front of everybody. Now, that probably isn't going to be the most family-friendly show. If you read his books, you would know why. But it could happen. Like, and I could reach out to other authors. Like, I know I'm not getting Stephen King or freaking Dean Koontz or anybody, but some authors that are trying to get their names out there. You know what I mean?
For sure.
There's a dude by the name of AJ Mock. He's a horror writer, and the dude writes amazing books, but he's not well known yet. And like, he's still like privately producing his books and publishing stuff by himself and things. And like somebody like that, I think would be fun to get on, interview, get his name out there. Maybe not to, millions of people, but a couple hundred more people that know you exist, that could be very beneficial. So
yeah.
Shane, it sounds like a whole nother podcast. I'm throwing my hat in the ring as a co-host.
Yeah.
Well, this Crooked Spine podcast.
Crooked Spine.
That's it's born right here.
You got time. Yeah. You got time, man. We got time.
I do got to. Speaking of that, let's go ahead and talk about this, because I got called out on another podcast. Did you see that, Alec?
Yeah, I watched it yesterday.
I got called out for leaving the locker room because I didn't have time to record the locker room and all the stuff I had going on and all that. So I wanted to free up some time. So I dropped 2 of my YouTube channels and I left the podcast. Yeah. And I got called out for coming here to the Reseller Island podcast, and Mike Deathpile Picker. And I was like, well, dude, the difference is I had a 9-to-5 job back then on top of everything else I was trying to do. And I lost that job in November. So all of a sudden I had 40 hours extra a week to spend doing whatever it is I wanted to do.
Yeah.
And Jake just happened to reach out to me. Like when our first episode dropped of me, Keith, and Jake on the Reseller Island, Jake had just reached out to us like the week before.
Yeah.
Like it happened super fast.
Yeah.
He reached out to me. He's like, hey, gave me the idea of revamping and asked me if I'd want to be a co-host with him. And he asked, and of course I said, yeah, sure. And then he asked me about Keith. He said, I don't really know Keith, but I think Keith would be great. What do you think? And I said, well, I'll ask him, but yeah, Keith's awesome. I think it would work well. And so Keith jumped on board too, but that all literally happened in like a week and a half. So I know people probably think that's been in the works for a long time, but I think Jake works on spur of the moment kind of. Yeah. Because it's like he had the thought and he jumped on it,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So
he's talked about that on the podcast already. Like his wife is the planner and like everything's like planned out, and he's like just makes a decision on the go, which is cool. Everyone's different.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, so I didn't leave just to get it out the way. I didn't leave the locker room to come to the island. It just worked out that way. And the locker room never asked me to come back either. So
well, we didn't know that you had time now. We know you lost your job, but we didn't want to just ask you. We wanted you to ask to come back, and you didn't. So
I was enjoying my free time, that's for sure. But no, you guys got Jefferson now, and Jefferson's a great fit over there.
He's entertaining over there for sure. Yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
dude, man,
we got to reel him back a little bit. We had a little talk. We had to, we can't offend too many people. So
yeah.
It's funny because we met. I met Jefferson back at the Trash to Cash Winter Bash in Orlando, January 2024, and him and Mike Camparelli had become buddies, and so I met both of them down there, and then met him again at Highway 127, and we got to hang out with this dude for a whole week. CJ Benz Fines Jefferson is out there. This dude is wilding, man. He's so much fun to be around, though. And then I got to see him again down in Florida with Mike Metco, or Mike Camparelli, whenever we went down to Dave's Container Sale.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, the day I got laid off, I went to work and got laid off, and I was supposed to leave that evening to go down to Florida. It's about a 6-hour drive. So my wife and I were going to work all day. We're, had our bags packed, everything ready. As soon as we got off work, we were going to head down. Got laid off around 8 a.m. And I said, well, you want to go to Florida? So we hit the road, and a lot of people were like, dude, you just lost your job. Do you think going down there spending a whole bunch of money is a good idea? It must have been, because I had the best sales month in December that I've ever had. So
there you go.
It worked out. But yeah, Jefferson's a little bit crazy, a lot funny. And I think he'll good fit.
Come out and say something so crazy, and you got to process, like, what did this guy just say? Like, what?
Yeah.
But which I love, because I like that dark humor that he has. But we can only go so far on YouTube. Also, it only takes one person complaining about it, to get demonetized or whatever. I don't know. But he's going to be flying down here, I think, for the Nashville meetup. What was it? April 27th. 25th and 27th.
We should probably talk about that. I've never been in Nashville, nor have I ever been to a meetup in general. So I'm going to see if I can get to that, but that's coming up in about a month, you said, right? And end of April, the meetup.
I want to double check, make sure I have the right dates real quick. I'm trying to look on.
I'd love to go, but I can't make it happen, man. I gotta go. I don't have to. I'm going to Kentucky Derby, which is that very next week.
Oh, wow.
So we leave on Thursday, come back on Sunday. And that, if I remember correctly, that meetup is literally like 3 or 4 days before I leave. So I can't justify 2 big trips like that. Not to mention, Nashville's an 8-hour drive one way for me. And it's only a weekend long thing. So it wouldn't make a whole lot of sense unless I was going down for like a week, make it worth the 16-hour round trip.
Well, Mike's going to be flying in and coming on Thursday. So Mike's staying with me, Camparelli. So it starts the 25th through 27th.
Okay.
So the 25th is like the meet and greet at this restaurant. I know Joe from I'd Flip That is doing his little game show live, which is going to be awesome.
Yeah.
And then the 25th, we're probably going to go yard selling. Then the Goodwill Bins. And then after the Goodwill Bins, the Reseller Locker Room podcast, we're hosting an event at the game terminal, which is all vintage arcade games. So vintage pinball.
Like so much fun.
Yeah, so everything's free. Like all the vintage games are all free. It's only the pinball that costs money, but it's full bar. They got shuffleboard out back, ping pong, like anything you could think of. Really cool spot. And then I think a lot of the guys probably after that are going to go to Broadway. I don't really go down to Broadway, but whatever Mike wants to do, I'll take Mike wherever he wants to go. So I'm going to be driving around Mike, Jefferson, and Ben.
Does the gaming place have checkers for Ben? He's got to have something to do while he's there.
Checkers?
Yeah. You ever see the old men playing checkers out front of Cracker Barrel? And
yeah. It reminds me of like New York City, because you always see videos in New York City. They have all the checkerboard set up in the park or chests. Yeah. He's got Ben out there with his cane playing checkers.
Yeah.
So that's is that organized by both the locker room as well as This Week in Reselling? Is it Ray Nashville Flippers?
No, it's just us. We're hosting that part of the meetup, so
okay,
we're sponsoring it. I mean, it's all one whole event, and
Yeah.
we just reached out to Ray to try to add something to it. So,
but we did the same. We did the same thing at Highway 127. The locker room, we put on a bowling tournament in Crossville, Tennessee. So it was everybody was there for the meetup, anyways. Let's try to get them out, you know, and have a good time, kind of thing. So very similar to what we did, just a different type of venue. But yeah, I think that's awesome. That place sounds amazing to me.
Oh, it's really. I take the kids over there. It's like family friendly. It turns into a bar like after 8 o'clock. It's 21 and over, but yeah, the kids love it over there, and so there should be live music and everything. But yeah, 127 finally getting to those videos a year later, guys.
So, yeah, go check out Alex's channel.
just a little bit behind. I did.
When is that sale? What time of year is that? The 127?
It's like the first week of August this year.
Okay,
it was the last week of July last year. I think it's the first week of August this year.
Okay,
it's so hot. It's so hot.
Yeah, that's all I remember. It's crazy hot. It was great time though. So.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
But I know it goes to Kentucky to Tennessee, or where's that? It's
Alabama to Michigan, pretty much.
Wow.
Yeah,
okay.
Michigan. Okay. Yeah, it's huge. So.
Yeah, Keith, we got to get you. We got to get you somewhere.
Yeah, I've never been on a highway sale either. I mean, I'm mainly a flea market picker. I go to yard sales around me, but I'm mainly a flea market guy.
You would probably like that because the 127 is more flea market style, wouldn't you say? With the tents, cities and stuff.
For sure. My only concern with Keith at a highway sale like that is, Keith, you tend to be very specific on the types of items you buy.
Yeah,
and I don't remember seeing a whole lot of what you're into.
Just like
while we
sporting
were out
stuff?
there. Like vintage sports stuff, ephemera, cool ephemera. I got a cool little story about a piece I was researching today that I bought from Keith. But cool. You do so good at your flea markets. Like, I don't know how well you do on the highway sales, because I seriously don't remember, at least where we were in Crossville, I don't remember seeing any of that. But like I said, I mean, the thing goes from Alabama to Michigan, I'm pretty sure. So somewhere along that line, you probably can find something, but you'd have to do it. You know, you'd have to just start M1 and drive completely north and try to find it. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm definitely more of a niche buyer. But I have the same issue in yard sales locally. Like, I'll go there and it's all like, there's probably great shoes there and great like modern clothing, but I don't even look at it really, because I have enough inventory that I don't want to add stuff that I don't really have a desire to pick and flip. But
Keith has his own warehouse, Ben.
Just call me Ben.
Yeah, I just called you Ben, Alex.
Well, later, guys.
Oh
man, Alex.
Yeah,
I'm gonna go play checkers now.
Yeah,
you and your liver spots.
Oh, man.
So Keith, do you remember selling me on? I don't remember if it was Dibbed It or First Class Treasures. But one of your ephemera sales, I bought that. I don't even know if you knew what it was. It was a handwritten receipt from the 1700s.
I do remember it. Yeah.
Okay. Do you remember the names on it or anything? Did you even look at it?
I did. It was like the Samuel. He was the guy who was the loyalist and was like a spy, right? Like a spy for the British. Yeah.
Yep. So Samuel
Wallace.
Yeah. Samuel Wallace. So I did a ton of research on that today, and of course, he's known to be one of the informants to Benedict Arnold, which is, known for being a traitor. But he was a Royal Navy officer who apparently is the one who discovered Tahiti as well, which was kind of cool. But Antiques Roadshow is coming to Savannah, Georgia, which is about 2.5 hours from me. So I submitted photos of it and the story and what I believe it to be. And hopefully they send me some tickets and I make the trip to Georgia with that
awesome.
piece in April. Yeah,
I used to watch that show all the time.
Me too.
Like that was before American Pickers, so those are kind of probably the two shows that got me into reselling.
Yeah, I always loved watching it, but it was still never like until 3 years ago did I even consider reselling. Like I was like, watching this show, but I wasn't realizing there's actually people out there that do this for a living. They go treasure hunting and digging and find stuff and resell it and make a ton of money or whatever, and they can live like that. It never clicked in my head until a few years ago. Like that's what people were doing. And I've been going to flea markets and yard sales my whole life, but it's always just been to find
hobby
stuff I like to collect or things for the house and stuff that I need. But yeah, so I'm hoping Antiques Roadshow hooks me up with a couple of free tickets and I can go down there and showcase that and find out if that's actually what it is or who it's about, or if it just happens to be the same guy with the same name.
I'm sure it's the same
guy with the same name.
I'm sure it's the same guy because let's see if I can reach it from my chair here. I'm gonna grab it. I'll be right back.
That sounds cool. I have a whole bunch of pieces like that. I just never get time to research them or take the time.
Yeah, I have a whole group of more documents from him that are all like. I've had these in my office for like years, but they're all like documents from that same guy, and they were sort of. I don't know if you bought the one. It was like a receipt for like 23 pounds of cheese from 1773 or something. I don't know if that's the one you bought, Shane, or
it might be.
Cheese. He bought a ton of cheese in Philadelphia. He was like a Pennsylvania guy, but I had a bunch of documents. Some of them were more interesting as to like a land documents. I don't know. I sold a few of them on First Class Treasures that I thought were cool, but yeah, very, very neat pieces.
Oh, I missed those because I would have bought them all.
Yeah, it was one you were in you were in there, but you had problems bidding. I think it was when I was my first First Class Treasure sale. Yeah.
Yeah. And they had put out a new update. And if you didn't already have that update, a lot of people, when they would go to bid, it wouldn't actually put the bid through.
I could not bid when you did the book shows. It wasn't working. And I lost out on a book I really wanted, but I'm not going to. You probably know what book I'm talking about, Shane. I don't know if you researched that book any further.
Yeah, I did. You're good. Nothing, no tears.
Oh, what impression was it?
It was first edition book club edition.
Oh, okay. Whew.
So it was like $28.
Okay, good.
So I sold that.
I was like, you just sold a $2,000 book for $10. What the heck? I couldn't sleep. Honestly, I could not sleep that night. That was bugging me so bad. And I wanted to call you like, dude, you got to tell me what edition that book is.
Yeah, he's texting me and stuff, and I didn't realize he was texting me. But it was that Godfather, right?
Yeah. Godfather first edition.
Yeah.
Well, there's definitely deals to be had over on District where I'm sure there were like $10 into $2,000 buys, like Shane's Tahiti Tahiti Discover letter there. I mean, there's great deals on whether it's First Class Treasures or Dibbed It or wherever.
Oh yeah. I love sourcing over there, man.
Yeah.
Absolutely love it. I've found some cool stuff. Something else. I think I bought these from you, Keith. These right here.
Oh yeah.
These little gliders.
Oh, those are cool.
Yeah,
the wood ones.
Yep. Or these might be a polystyrene or something, but balsa wood, something I don't know, but they're cool. I don't remember what I paid Keith for them, but I threw them up on Grams and Pops and Ink Picker. Who else? Resell to Ride and Happy Heart Treasures all created a new district marketplace called the Dollar Auction.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Okay. You just reminded me that I'm trying to buy something over there. I got to check if see.
I gotta check that out.
The dollarauction.com. Everything that starts at $1, whether you're live or static listing, it has to start at $1. It has to be an auction. So I just put these up. I put all 4 of them up for $1 each, and I just got bids on them today. 3 of the 4 have bids on.
I think you got them for $2. You're probably already in the profit there, Shane.
Yeah, maybe. So I don't remember, but yeah, I think I was the only one that bid on those. But I thought they were cool.
Yeah.
I don't know why I like stuff like that, but I mean, I bought the Lindbergh stuff from you, and I don't know. There's something about aviation. I just kind of always liked. That Howard Hughes movie was, very interesting and cool and stuff like that. Leo DiCaprio, I think, was in that.
See that, Shane? That ends in 5 hours over there. It's the Masters. Universe picture disc. Well,
I was the first one to bid on that.
It's mine. I'm gonna get it.
That's super cool. I never saw one of
the-
that. I saw Smurfs before, but not a He-Man. That's awesome.
I saw
So,
that, and
picture disc?
I was like, hopefully nobody sees this auction.
No, I'm watching it. I'm watching it.
But I bid on it and very quickly outbid.
Yeah, it's at 21 right now.
Yeah,
I collect a lot of picture discs, so that'd be
when
nice
I bid on
collection.
it. I was the first one, and I put a max bid of $3. Not because I don't want it, like I still may bid on it, but I just was hoping to get it that cheap. And it was like the same day. Somebody was like,
Shane,
nope.
You will not bid on it.
So they run it like a 7-day eBay auction style, or how do they run auctions over there?
They're doing them pretty much, yeah, but you can choose. Like I've seen some that are 3 days, I believe. So I think they're just leaving it up to the buyer. But it's pretty cool. Seems like a good way to get rid of stuff that you don't really care about. But I guess their idea behind it was they have a lot of local like Facebook groups that do this kind of thing. They call them the dollar auctions. The problem with them is they're local to your area. Nobody ships anything. You have to be willing to go pick it up and do all this stuff. And they wanted to be able to get involved in that, Corey and Teresa, but they live in such a rural area that it's not possible. There's no groups like that. Corey tried to create one, and it ended up being like 25 people, family and friends, no real support. So he was like, well, let's take it national. Let's create a dollar auction site that, can be used nationally. And they came up with. Still don't know why I wasn't invited to collaborate on that, but I wasn't. It's cool. I love them all still.
I feel the same way about the crooked spine, Shane.
Yeah.
You and Keith are my peeps, though.
Well, on that note, if you guys ever, sorry, Shane, have you ever guys just run straight eBay auctions? Have you ever went down that path as a primary thing?
Nope, I've never.
Back in the day, yeah, when before Buy It Now and even a little bit after Buy It Now came, I would run auctions, but I would that was all sports cards back then. That's back when the late 90s. I was still into sports cards, and
You ran the tool record. You ran the tool record on auction.
I was about to say I very rarely do it. I did it so when I decided to become a reseller, I had a Nikon, what was it? Nikon Z something or other camera that I used to photograph the snakes and stuff I would go find. I sold it and I ran it on an auction because I wanted the money because I wanted to start reselling. I wanted to buy books because I was reselling on Whatnot. And I sold my camera because I was like, I can get another camera down the road. And I sold it on auction because I was like, I don't want it to sit there for 30 days. I want to go buy books. So I sold it in a 7-day auction. I got $1,000 for it. So,
nice.
Which is only about $200 less than what, it could have sold on Buy It Now. So I was pretty happy with that. I bought $1,000 worth of books and started reselling and Whatnot. And then I found a Tool record. Keith, you familiar with Tool, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So, their album Anima. Was it Anima? It was Anima. First printing. Oh, wow. I found a stack of records at this yard sale, and I offered $40 for them. There was 5 records, and I sold one of them. Was a sealed Weird Al what was it, UVH or whatever his movie was.
You sold that at the house though, right? Someone bought that.
Sold that to who bought that? Jason Lux Garage for $40. So I made all my money back the same day. But I knew that tool records usually go for at minimum like $100. So I was like, that's a good one regardless, but it could be a really good one. So I got back to the house, and I think Alex was helping me doing research, found out that this was a first pressing, Tool Anima record, and it's like a $2,000 record in, good shape. This one was in good shape, but it was not as good as the $2,000 comp. And I was like, I'm gonna put it on auction, and I ended up selling it for, like I said, I got like $8 into it, and it sold for, the dude was all in, some dude in England. It was all in for just under $900. So
Nice.
I got like 700 for it or something.
That was the
And
same yard sale, right? Where I got all the books.
same one, you got all the books, yeah.
That was the
And
best yard sale the whole trip.
that's the best yard sale I've ever seen in my life. Like, if I'd have been alone, I don't know if I would have had enough money to buy everything that, because all of us found such amazing stuff. Me, you, Chris, Ben, like all of us.
Yeah.
But
Did
yeah,
anybody
so
have footage of that sale? Was there any footage taken?
no,
None of
not
us
a
were recording.
single person were
Yeah.
recording.
It was my best like book haul to date. I mean, it's the
Oof.
amount of books I got. One sold for $475. I paid $250 for all the books. They're all the gaming walkthrough manuals, like Dungeons and Dragons stuff.
Yeah.
And
Oh, wow.
Marvel hardbacks and all that. So
I saw one book in that stack, and I was like, I need to get Alex over here, because Alex was looking at some other stuff. And there's a game called Alice Madness Returns. It's my favorite video game of all time. I'm not a big video game guy, but it's my favorite, and I think it's the most beautiful game I've ever seen. And I knew these books were going to be good. I didn't realize how good they were, but I told Alex, dude, you need to come look at these boxes over here. And how much did that Alice book sell for?
$475.
Oh, that's that one. Yeah. So
yeah,
man, that's a gaming manual. Oh, wow.
Yeah. So like, it's like all the artwork and stuff from the game is really, really nice. But none of us, this was like one of those yard sales. We were sign chasing, so we were just looking for signs and driving to them. We had gotten off the beaten path from the Highway 127. We were just driving around freestyling. And this little sign popped up out in the middle of nowhere, dude. Like farmland. All of a sudden, there's a street with houses on it, and there was a sign, and we all pull up, and it didn't look like it was going to be much. It was a couple of ladies sitting out in their lawn chairs or whatever, and it just did not look like it was going to be good. So not one of us grabbed a camera. And it was the best yard sale I think any of us had ever seen.
yeah.
But we also couldn't go, hey,
We
let's
couldn't
go get
figure it
our
out.
cameras and start recording, because these chicks had some dude on the phone.
No, it was her husband, and the books were his. And I was like trying to make a deal. She was overwhelmed, right? We overwhelmed this girl. She was on the phone trying to say, well, he wants all these books. He was trying to sell them on the phone for $20 off the cover price. And they're like $60 books brand new. I'm like, I pay $1 a book. That's my minimum, right? So I got him down to $195. I don't think the husband. And then I told everyone I got the books. I'm like, we got to go now before this guy realizes his wife just sold 250. How many books they were, 400 books or something for that cheap. It's like, we got to go. So I'm making everyone throw these heavy boxes in the back of all the trucks. And I took all the room in all the trucks. We're like, we're out of here.
Yeah, it was crazy, man. Everybody killed it. Yeah, everybody, all of us killed it at that sale. And I even had her, she offered her $40 for the records. And like I said, it was 5 records. And I found a deck of cards, and sealed decks of cards can do pretty well. But it was have you seen the movie Snatch?
Yeah. Is it Brad Pitt? Is that
Snatch?
Okay.
Yeah. So she had a sealed deck of cards there, and I was like, "You throw these in with them?" And she's like, "Yeah, I sold those for $10." So like,
there you go.
It's everything about that yard sale was good, except the dude on the phone. Like, he was really trying, and he's like, "I'm on my way," and we're trying to get this done before he gets there, because. And it's kind of sad though, because all the stuff belonged to one of the ladies there's deceased husband.
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah.
So one of them, two of the girls were sisters, I think. One was her husband, the other was the brother-in-law, or sister-in-law. But yeah, so it was kind of sad. We were buying all this dude stuff, and the ladies were just like, I don't know, whatever. And the guy's on the phone like, no, I'm coming. I'm on my way, you know, blah, blah, blah. And we're like, dude, we got to make this happen or it ain't going to happen.
Yeah.
But every single one of us walked out with thousands, I think.
Yeah. that flip, I mean, that paid for my whole trip, right?
Yeah.
So if we didn't hit that sale, I'd probably be in the hole for that trip, but I'm good now.
Yeah.
You know, just like 2 of the books that I sold that paid for that whole trip. And I still have, I don't know, 20 or 30 right here that haven't sold yet.
Yeah, that's kind of thing we dream of, where you just get that. I've hit some yard sales like that where it's like you don't want to leave. You're just constantly adding up piles, and they're few and far between for sure.
Yeah, so, for sure.
Yeah,
I just looked through a box of books today, and I think they came from that sale too. They're all the Warhammer 400 paperbacks.
Yeah,
and all of these, I have 10 of them, I think, right here. They're all $60 to $150 for these paperbacks.
Oh, hey, wow. Archie's live. I just got a notification.
What, on District?
Yeah. Selling military patches and pins.
Did you hear about his house?
Yeah. His house got flooded.
That's what he was saying. He was trying to look for a place to stay or something.
Oh, yeah. Wow.
I was going to tell him just to buy a blow-up mattress that could float around his house.
That'd be kind of cool.
He's in Vegas, right?
He'd have his own little reseller island right there in his home.
Yeah. Yeah. He's in Vegas, and I'm not sure what happened. I haven't talked to him. He just made a post on Facebook.
Yeah, I saw his post on Facebook.
His house is flooded or something, and
Keith, what is that thing to your right on the wall underneath the cards? It looks like a wooden headboard or something.
Oh, this right here. I bought this from Rod Picking and Punching's dad. It's a NFL Man of the Year award given to an Eagles player.
Oh,
so
that's
it's
cool.
like it's all like carved. That's all like an inlay of the guy's like, portrait. So
that's cool.
They
always have the coolest stuff, man.
Thank you. Yeah. I collect. This is like a piece from my collection. The Eagles cards are as well. Everything else back here is inventory. So, yeah.
I see some of them expensive bobbleheads. What are they called again? Frank something?
Fred Kale, the porcelain statue. Like this little guy, he's a Fred Kale statue right there. The little porcelain football statues. The rest of them are just 60s bobbleheads right there. Yeah.
Okay, so they're actual statues, not bobbleheads. The Frank Kale.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's one of the things I collect bobbleheads too, Eagles bobbleheads, but I'll you don't really see them at yard sales, right? I never have, but you'll see them at flea markets occasionally. But something that they sell very well. If you find the paper mache bobbleheads, those are the ones you want to find. Even if have condition issues, they still have good value. A lot of them.
Yeah. If you can make it to Nashville for the meetup, if you come Thursday, they're having the Nashville flea market too, which they'll probably have sports stuff there. And me and Mike are going to hit up on Thursday. We're going to be going to the flea market. So
yeah, I'd love to go. I'm going to have to check my work schedule, see like how that. I have like 1 4-day weekend a month, so that's this week. But I got to see where that falls in April. The reason I was asking about running auctions, I have a friend who that's all his whole business model on eBay. I have 2 friends actually that do it. That they don't sell anything by now. They list like 500 items, 7-day auctions, and then like they do it like once a month. And it's like that's got to be pretty refreshing to like see 500 things move out the door a week later.
Right.
I mean, other than the shipping, that's
you
like,
got a lot of shipping to do.
Yeah. That's like
imagine if you got next day shipping.
Oh yeah,
500 items.
So
I mean, I guess that could be good and bad, right? Because some of the stuff's going to sell for whatever they put the starting bid at. Unfortunately, that's just how it goes. Sometimes we've all sold something for 99 cents. But some of that stuff is going to probably get a lot more than they expect as well. So I guess it kind of works itself out. But that's a cool idea. If you have that much inventory, and you don't care that some things are going to go for cheap, that's a pretty good idea.
I almost feel like at a whim, like I have like 3,800 listings, I think, like convert my whole store to a 7-day auction, 99 cents, and just be done with it. But
I'll shop.
Yeah. But probably though, that's the beauty of First Class Treasures and Dibbed It, right? Because you can do the same thing, and you're going to get not top dollar with the stuff, but you're going to move it that same day, and you can move quantity. So I guess the same vibe over on District anyway, without having to photograph it and describe it. You can just hold it up and show it. So
yeah.
Can't you set a cap though? Like if it doesn't sell for a certain amount, can you do that on eBay auctions or
Yeah, reserve auctions.
a
Yeah.
reserve?
I feel like that when you set a reserve, it's a lot of people don't bid because they feel like, they don't want to waste their time with a reserve auction. But
I noticed that. What's
yeah.
that? What's that guy? Monkey Garage or whatever. Gas Monkey Garage down in Texas. Had that show on Discovery or something. You know what I'm talking about?
Mm-hmm.
He used to sell cars at the auctions on there, and he always put a reserve price on it, and it wouldn't be selling. And the auctioneer or whatever would talk him into pulling the reserve off, and as soon as he did, bids started flying, and he'd get a lot of the time a lot more than what the reserve was, but people just they want to see the opportunity to get it for cheaper, but then it'll start a bidding war. I don't know. I kind of feel like you. I'd want to start it at 99 cent and just let it ride.
Yep, I would do the same
Try to
thing.
get those bids in there.
Because you get two people that want it in an auction. That's what you're hoping. Two guys that really want it. They're just butting heads. It's a macho thing in an auction at times, right? You're not going to lose it.
Yeah.
Like Alex and that Motu freaking disc picture.
Yeah. You two guys, yeah. That's
I get caught up. I get caught up on that stuff.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'll go into like Max or my buddy's whatnot book show, and then I'll end up buying all these books. And I already know the price, and I buy more than they sell for on eBay just because of it's like a competition thing. I gotta win the books.
Well, especially at a live auction. I don't know if I grew up, and that's how I learned the antique game is going to live auctions. But man, when you're holding that card up and you see that guy, like, that's where the competition really starts.
Right?
Yeah. My sister's husband, Brandon, and I used to go to estate auctions, and those were so much fun, man. And this was before I was a reseller. I just thought it was fun. It was cool. And now I want to try to work that into my business model and start going to these estate auctions again. The estate sales are cool and all, but it's just a lot more fun, out there. And what was really cool is the stuff that wouldn't sell, they'd put it on like one of them big 4x8 folding tables, and they'd start that at $5, the whole table. Yeah. Like, and sometimes you could get it for $5 because people, they didn't want it the first go around. They still don't want it, but it's, stuff that would be great for these little, like the dollarauction.com or First Class Treasures, Dibdit, things like that. It's items that would be good for that. It may not be great eBay inventory, but if you're going to run it for $1 or $2, you paid $5 for a table full.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I want to get back into doing that. Those live auctions are fun, man.
Absolutely.
I don't know if they have anything like that around here. It would be fun though.
A lot of them went near me, went away side when COVID hit. They all went online. So you have to go to more rural areas near me to get to them, but worth looking into for sure.
I do the online auctions every once in a while. To try to find like book lots and stuff, but
if you can find the ones that are like at the home, right, where it's at the house, and they're like pulling stuff out of the attic that hasn't been out of the attic for 40 years. And those are the ones that like the treasures come out that they're fun.
Yeah, that's what me and my brother-in-law would do is we would find those where they were at the house. He'd take a trailer with him, and I usually just rode with him because I never bought as much as he did, but he would take a trailer and sometimes fill it up with stuff, and he wasn't a reseller either. I don't know what he's doing all this stuff.
just order.
Order. Well, that makes good content too, because I know Philly Flipper made videos like that at an auction house near me when he was up in Philadelphia, and Rod Picking and Punching does the same in Florida. So it's a lot of those auctioneers are entertaining with just their calling and the rhythm they got going. So that'd be good content for you, Shane, if they let you film there.
Yeah,
just do it on the sly.
Fingers crossed I get to go to Antiques Roadshow because that would be a cool video too. I don't know if they'd let me film there.
But you'll be on the show. That'd be awesome.
But yeah, it'd be on the show for one, and that guy I could clip that and create some content around it.
Yeah.
When I was invited twice, before I was YouTube, and I had a website that I sold on called antiquesportshop.com, which I still own the site. I only use it to buy. People reach out to me to sell stuff. But I was reached out twice by Pawn Stars, and they wanted me to bring a specific item from my site to the shop and act like I was just coming in the seller, pawn it. And it would have been awesome, especially now. Like I'd wear like a little vintage Sport Flips hat and walk in. But then when I was talking to them in details, they gave you nothing. There was no airfare, no hotel. It Just like,
oh wow,
he just went there just for the sake of the experience to get on TV.
yeah.
And it's not a quick trip for me to get to Vegas. Not a cheap trip, so I never did it. But I
It's
would now if they reach out again.
It's surprising that they reach out to you and they're not going to pay to fly you out there.
Yeah,
They just want you to
that's what I
come in
was
there
thinking.
and pretend like you want to sell it. Like they don't even want to. So you don't even have. You're not even going to make money because they're not going to buy it from you.
No, I think they would. They might buy it if they could work
Okay.
out a deal. They might buy it, but yeah, there was no guarantee of that. And they probably, I assume that wouldn't happen. So, yeah, it would have been a fun experience. I would probably do it now. Now that back then I would have been very camera shy. Now at least I've been on YouTube enough where I'm a little more comfortable with it. But it would have been fun for sure.
That would have been cool. Now I have an aunt who recently went to Vegas. And by recently, I mean within like the last 10 years or so. I don't remember how far back, but she was telling me that they went by there and that the line to get inside that place was like down the block. It was insane. But she said when you got in there, Chumley, Rick, the old man, none of them were there. Like they're all either not on site or in the back somewhere, and like their regular employees were there. Those guys are only there for the cameras.
Yeah,
they they own it and run the place, but they're only there for the cameras. If you just show up when they're not filming, you're not seeing anybody.
Yeah,
it's like we stood in all that line going down the block for nothing.
Yeah, it's probably the same here. We got American Picker stores here in Nashville.
Yeah,
one of their locations,
archaeology or whatever.
Yeah, I haven't been in there yet. I'd like to go check it out. But
that's the one with what's her name running it, right? The tattooed chick.
Yeah,
I love that show. I can't think of it either. I'm totally blanking on it.
Yeah, me too.
Her name?
Yeah, the girl's name.
I don't remember her name.
It's on the tip of my tongue. That was a good show too. What's his name? Passed away not too long ago, right?
Frank.
It's been a couple months. Yeah, a couple months ago.
Yeah. That show, I'm sure that gave rise to a lot of pickers like us, right? Those guys like just traveling the country, and that's the dream to just do. Well, you guys are living the dream. I still have a job, but you guys are living that dream, right? You're Frank and Mike.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I'm probably a little more frank than Alex is.
Yeah,
I'm a little rounder.
We also did TV wise, and I don't know if I should even say this, but I won't name the show. But it was it's not the big show in this genre, but one of the storage shows. They rented items from me to act like they were found in the storage unit.
Really?
And they rent it, not the big one that everyone watches. I'll say that it's not that big, the big one, but and then they rented a bunch of items. I guess they plant them in the storage unit, and then they lost one of the items. They could never find it again. So they ended up sending me like most of it back, and then bought the one item that they lost. They paid the going rate for it. So just figured I'd share that, even though I did have to sign some disclosure agreements, but I'm not saying the name of the show, so it should be okay.
Those freaking TV shows are scheming, ain't they?
Yeah.
That's crazy, man. Like I know a lot of that stuff is scripted and all that. Like everybody knows that, but dang, to go that far as to renting items,
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I might start putting out storage unit stuff. I'll just take all my books and say I found the biggest book haul of all times, and I'll just throw all my books I already own in one storage unit.
Yeah,
a gold mine.
I'm sure it happens. Everyone accuses all of us, I'm sure, of being like fake, staging yard sales and all that. But I'm sure it probably happens on a rare occasion out there on YouTube. But I don't think
I try to be one of those YouTubers that is 100% transparent with my viewers.
Yep.
And there's a bunch of us that are, but there are some that I feel are nobody like in our fringe group community, you want to call it, but people that I've seen that I don't necessarily watch, but they just seem fake to me. And I, maybe I'm wrong. They may just be legit and they just seem that way to me, but they seem fake. And I don't know. I just always said I'd never be that guy. I'll always be transparent. I'll tell you guys when I'm screwing up in my business. I'll tell you when I'm excelling, and you'll see every part of it. And I think channels like that are authentic, and people appreciate that. So that's where I always said I'd be. But it would be fun to just go out there and make some crazy staged thing. just for the fun of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I don't even know if I'd put it out on my channel, but it'd be fun to just set up some fake production style video and
then
create it. And
at the end,
yeah.
gotcha. This was
Yeah.
they show the background of like, and show the
Gotcha.
setup. Yeah. At least if you're honest at the end, it might be worth the chuckle, right?
Yeah, yeah.
There is a guy on YouTube that does storage lockers, a little short bald guy. It seems fake to me, like the stuff that he finds like all the time.
Oh, I
I
think
don't.
I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, that's fake.
I can't think of his channel
I
name,
don't
but
know.
he's
He's
always
like a
finding like gold and
gold or guns or
stacks of cash and
yeah. So
Yeah.
I think I know who you're talking about.
seems kind of fake to me.
Yeah, it may not be.
Yeah,
Well,
there's a
I'm gonna
lot of
start
them. I
doing
watch
more.
them, but
if it isn't, then I should be doing storage lockers because it's like every video he's finding something amazing, you know.
Well, like
Yeah.
I do watch the Georgia Picker, and he does ATL pickers as well. They do storage units, and
Mhm.
they do pretty good, man. Resell
Yeah.
to Ride does great. Happy Heart Treasures does great with their storage units, and I've only ever bought one. Well, I bought two, right? The second one, I posted on Facebook. I wish I would have had my camera to record. I bought this storage unit. Less than an hour later, I showed up there to get in. Gate was wide open. There's no personnel on site at this place. It's all digital. They send you a code, you log in, do all the stuff, and go in. Well, the gate was wide open. And I was like, well, that's weird. I don't see anybody here. You know, nobody's parked down there. I drive down and the door's closed, the unit I bought, but the lock's missing and it's clearly been broken into. And I was like, oh man. So I took some pictures. I had my phone. I took some pictures and I opened the unit. And of course, it's damn near empty. They left a couple of things, but it's damn near empty. And it was completely full when I bought it. The crazy thing is, so I called the people, they called the police, did a report and all this. They refunded me all my money. But the crazy thing is, while I was in there taking pictures showing, hey, this is what it looks like, because they did ask for pictures, I found a piece of mail on the ground and it's a buddy of mine's unit. And I'm like, do I call him out on this, and say, dude, WTF, blah, blah, blah. Or do I leave it alone? And this isn't like a close friend of mine. It's a guy I grew up with, and we've just kind of parted ways through the years. But we're still friends on social media. And I was like, all right, I'm not gonna reach out to him. They did a police report. They know who the unit belonged to. They'll do whatever. And there's cameras and stuff right at every storage facility, so they'll figure it out. And I did make a Facebook post about it though. I didn't call his name out, but he and his wife saw it. His wife messaged me, and she's like, "I had nothing to do with this." Blah blah blah. And I said, "Look, I said police are handling it now.
Did they
But
know that you were the one that bought it then?
Not until I made that
okay.
post.
Oh, when you were saying the story, I didn't even think it was the owners. I was thinking it was a random like burglary at a storage unit, but that would make a lot more sense, right?
Yeah,
Like it was in there.
Yep, because I've never been on that side of a storage unit auction. I've always, been the one bidding. So I don't even know. I owned a storage unit at one point, and that's one in between some moves I did. So I had a bunch of stuff in storage, but I've never had one go up for auction. So from what I understand, they get an email, right, that notifies them it's being put up for auction, or they get letters in the mail or whatever. But then they're also notified when it sells, apparently. Say, like, hey, you're not getting any of your stuff back. Well, like I said, an hour after I got the notification that I won, I showed up and the place had been broken into. So
that's crazy.
Crazy. And even crazier that it turned out to be, somebody that I knew. And that was a hard decision. Like, do I call them out and go tell them I want my money back or all the items, whatever, or do I just let the facility and the police handle it? And that's what I ultimately decided, because the facility said, yeah, we'll definitely refund you. They gave me my deposit and the and the charge. I think I won it for, it was not much, man. It was only like $30-$40, and then there was like $100 deposit, something like that. So, but I got my money back, and I'm assuming the police dealt with them.
Yeah,
crazy.
It's interesting because the big storage unit buy that I bought from a friend that I think I mentioned on the locker room, Alex. It was like a massive collection of toys and memorabilia from a buddy of mine. Like a month before I bought the unit, somebody had broken into a bunch of units, including his, at that storage facility. But they didn't like take anything. They must have. They were probably looking for electronics or stuff that was a quick flip. I mean, there was like probably tens of thousands of dollars of vintage toys and Mickey Mantle box gloves and all kind of stuff that they didn't even like look in boxes. But so it makes sense in your situation that if it was somebody like that, they were just trying to pilfer for quick flip stuff, not take every box of like family treasure and or family photos and everything else. So
yeah, they could have been looking for anything, man. Guns, cash, all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
Does anybody close to you guys collect things for you? Like, you know what I mean? Like they'll pick stuff up to give to you.
Do you mean like hold it for me to buy from them? Is that what you mean?
No, just like, so for instance, my mom was notorious. My mom passed away a couple of years ago. She was notorious for buying things that she thought were going to be worth tons of money, right? And she would hold on to them. Well, recently, my stepdad gave me a baseball that my mom had been holding on for 40 years. And he's like, your mom was saving this for you.
Oh, wow.
I found it, in a box in the attic or whatever. Same thing with a vintage Barbie doll, brand new in the box. Barbie she was keeping for my sister. And my mom was terrible at choosing what was going to be valuable years down the road. So this Barbie doll, she had like little Post-it notes that said, do not touch, like no fingerprints, don't touch it, do not open it, blah, blah, blah. It was some millennial princess Barbie from 2000. Everybody thought the world was going to end and all this crap. So that thing was worth like $9 or something like that. But this baseball, so my stepdad, he gives it to my sister to give to me because he saw her before him and I would see each other again. And it's brand new in the package, commemorative 100th anniversary Babe Ruth baseball. And I was like, that's kind of cool, Mom, because I played baseball growing up. I collected sports cards, and as a kid. And so she thought this Babe Ruth ball is going to be some money one day, So I just for fun looked it up on eBay the other day, and it's like an $8 ball. my mom was horrible at picking out stuff that was going to be worth some money in the future. Like
maybe she has some Beanie Babies still hidden for you.
I know she
probably right.
My mom was the first one that ever told me about Black Diamond VHS. This would have been, gosh, I don't know, 20 years ago, maybe. And this is when like people were first starting to say, oh, these are worth $15,000 for this sealed VHS and all. So she's like, we're at her house one day and she's sitting on her butt going through all her Disney VHS looking for Black Diamond editions. But it was just, I don't know, it was funny to me. Because every time like somebody finds something that my mom had kept for somebody, like that baseball or that Barbie or whatever, it's turned out to be worthless. And I'm like, love you, Mom, but none of your stuff, none of us are retiring anytime soon.
Sounds like
but no, I was just wondering if people do that for y'all. Do they bring you stuff because they're like, this is going to be worth a killing, man, and then it turns out to not be.
No, a little bit. My mother-in-law similar, not like similar to your mom. Like she'll text me images. It's like never anything good. Not to be mean there, but my dad's in the business, so my dad has a good eye. My dad buys as much as I do, so he knows what he's doing. But yeah.
I told my brother we own 2 preschools in California, right? So when Dr. Seuss got canceled, they banned some of his books. They said they're racist. I had a copy and I sold it for I think $130. And I told my brother about it, and he went through all the daycares and found all the Dr. Seuss. So I couldn't get him, and he's got it sitting on the shelf at home. I'm like, man, they're not worth anything anymore. Like right when it happened, like the first couple weeks,
had a leap
everyone was doing it. And I go to his house, and in this china cabinet, he's got the Dr. Seuss, book. I'm like, you jerk. What'd I tell you about it?
Yeah.
He's never going to resell it. He's got stuff that's worth so much money, like every vintage Grateful Dead shirt,
oh wow.
He's got vintage Stussy leather jacket. Like I looked up his Stussy leather jacket probably, I don't know, 8 years ago. It was like a $500 jacket. And he still has the thing. He just never lists anything. I'm like, you're not going to wear this. Like, give it to me. I'll split the profit, But he couldn't sell a thing on Facebook Marketplace if his life depended on it. So
that's funny.
I almost died over a Stussy hat at a Rage Against the Machine concert. I was in the mosh pit. My hat fell off, and I went down to get it, and I almost never came out. But I think I threw that hat out not long after. So I wish I still had it.
That's funny. I had tickets to see Rage and Beastie Boys in Atlanta one time, and that was right when Zach De La Rocha or whatever left the band to go join the Mexican Revolution or whatever nonsense he did back in the early 2000s. And so they canceled the tour. So I never got to see Rage. But I have a vintage Rage concert tee in my store right now from the 90s.
I was looking at that. Actually, I just saw that in your store. That's nice.
Yeah, nobody will buy it. I'm like the cheapest one on eBay. It's the only white one on eBay too. All of them are black except for mine. So it's got to be even rarer.
Yeah.
Majority of shirts that sell are black though. Like a lot of people do not like wearing the white shirts.
But it's cool. What was I going to say? I forget. There was something you said, Keith, that triggered something that I was going to say. But yeah, so I have that vintage Rage shirt. And I guess I got it listed for like $150 or somewhere around there now. But I guess I'm gonna have to drop the price on it because I've had it for about 1.5 years, and stuff like that usually doesn't sit very long.
Yeah, I sold all my vintage concert t-shirts. A lot of them. I still have a Slayer one that it's like a $300 shirt and a 6 feet under. But I had like Cradle of Filth, vintage Cradle of Filth, and those all sold.
I was listening to Propane yesterday. You remember them?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was listening to them yesterday. Yeah, Rage Against the Machine, man. I would have loved to have seen them live, but never got the chance.
Yeah, it was a wild concert for sure. A lot of energy in that one.
Oh, that's what I was going to say. So we used to go to concerts all the time, and I spent 2 years in New York City, and we had a big AT&T build up there, project cell towers, and my buddy Jesse and I, we would go to concerts all over the country together, and we saw so many freaking bands because New York City, everybody comes there, but there's Philly right down the street.
Yeah.
Baltimore's not far. Even DC was only, 4 or 5 hours or something. So we would go to these shows like crazy. And I forget who we were there to see. It might have been OTEP. But my buddy Jesse was a big time mosh pit guy, and he's a little tiny dude, super small guy. And I remember going to the restroom at this one concert, and I walk in there, and he's just covered in blood. He's beat all to hell, just from being in this mosh pit. He's so small, he just gets knocked around. He ends up on the floor and all this. And he's like, the bouncers keep kicking me out of the pit, man.
They say you had enough. It's thrown in the towel. This corner is thrown in the towel.
He'd work his way back in, and they'd throw him back out. But yeah, he was in there cleaning up like he had cuts and all kinds. He just beat all crazy. And I was like, dude, I get it. It's fun. I love mosh pits too. Like, I don't do that now, but in my 20s, dude, it was a blast. And I was like, is it worth it, Jesse? You're getting your butt whipped out there, man. But he's like, yeah, the bouncers keep throwing me out of the mosh pit. They won't let me in.
Nowadays, I would throw up my back on the way to the mosh pit. Before I even got in there, I'd hurt myself.
Yeah, just trying to squeeze through.
Yeah.
Oh, that's fun. The good old days.
Yep.
Keith, you got a birthday coming up soon, I heard last night.
Yeah, April 2nd. Yep. I don't even, a couple weeks. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Now I'm doing a big vintage thank you. I'm doing a big vintage clothing show in Philly the 30th of March, and I'm gonna pull out some of my personal vintage shirts like Green Day, Giant Tag, that kind of 90s stuff. I'm We're gonna pull some of that out for that show.
That's in in-person event. In-person event.
Yeah. Philly Vintage Flea. It's like the biggest show in Philly. Great. I mean, a great show. I enjoy shopping it, but setting up is cool too.
Yeah. When is that again? In Nashville here.
March 30th, Sunday. Just a one-day show. Sunday, March 30th. And then what I don't say, I'm going to bring some of that to the Dibbed It Threads as a raid train on the 3rd Thursday after that show. So I'll bring the remainder to that show. I think they're running all day, like a 12-hour raid train on Dibbed It Threads. So it should be good. Yeah.
Yeah, that'll be a good time.
Yeah.
I'll have to come check that show out. I'll be interested to see what you got.
12 hours. People are going to run out of money by the last person that goes on. Jeez.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah. And I'm going to try to do a promotion at that show where I try to I'm doing a giveaway at the show. I'm not sure if it's going to work out, but I was going to try to do a stream from the show for like 5 hours and run like a 5-hour giveaway and like show people who are walking past, look, I'm giving this shirt away on stream. Go sign up for Dibbed It Threads, or you could do that for any marketplace and try to recruit new people over to the market. I think it might a test run. So maybe I'll do it at the National if it goes well. So.
Yeah, that's actually a pretty cool idea, especially at the National, because you could bring people to the cards, Dibbed cards, stuff like that.
Yeah,
that's a pretty good idea. I feel like that would work, especially if you have, if you're giving away this freaking whoever this chick is from the Golden Girls. If you're giving that away, nobody's coming to District. But if you're, if you not that you are, but say you had a Mickey Mantle. How many people are going to sign up for an opportunity to win a Mickey Mantle? You know what I mean? Like, if you got a good item you're giving away, people will come. So,
yeah, that was my plan. I was going to do like $100 T-shirt, like maybe a vintage liquid blue shirt or something like that, and just hang it up. People will see. I'll just log in and get in on the giveaway. And it's cool that you can do a 5-hour giveaway on District where you can't. I don't think you can do that on Whatnot, right? So just it'll be a boring stream if you're just hop in the stream. It'll be just nothing going on, but. To recruit new people, build the market.
It'd be cool. It'd be cool to watch though, and check in every now and then. You know what I mean? Like for those viewers, nobody's going to sit there for five hours and watch tell stuff to strangers. But to check in, just to every hour or so, go. Oh, I wonder how Keith's doing, and jump in and watch for 20 minutes. I think that.
Just flip the camera around. Yeah, just show the crowds. Yeah, that's a good idea.
I'd watch it.
Yeah.
That'd be cool.
I wouldn't watch it for 5 hours, but I'd watch it every now and then.
Maybe 4. But not
tune in at the last second. 5. I'll draw it at 4 o'clock. Just come in at 4 and get it on the giveaway. Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, that I think that would bring a good bit of people, especially. I mean, it's a once a year thing, one day a year, so there's probably a ton of people that come through there.
Yeah, it's a busy show. It's like I think it's 2 or 3 shows a year, but still, it's a busy show But the National has hundreds of thousands of people to go there.
Yeah,
so that's
potentially thousands of new people you could bring to the platform. Absolutely. That's cool. That's a good idea.
Yeah. So
you have your own private booth then that you're renting a space for? Yeah,
a 10 by 15 booth. I'll have almost all hats and clothing. I'll bring some memorabilia just like as a backdrop, but maybe one of my helmet chairs, even though it's not for sale. Just
how much? Yeah, what's the going rate on a booth like that? I used to do a lot of stuff like that, but in the fitness industry, I have a clothing line devoted till death, and we used to do like Mr. Olympia, which is like the Super Bowl of bodybuilding, and we'd rent out the spaces, but they're so freaking expensive nowadays for these expos. So
it's sort of funny you said that because the person who runs this show, they own a gym in my town. So they used to do it at their gym, and then it got big enough where they rent out a whole hall. Yeah, I think it's like $300, I believe, for a 10 by 15.
Oh, that's cheap.
Yeah.
We were like LA Fitness. I paid $1,500 or something for a booth. For a weekend. You got to sell a lot of shirts to cover that. And then
absolutely.
The expense for the hotel, and I had athletes that I'd bring out there and stuff that were on my team, so it's so expensive.
And that's like the National. The National is like $1,400 for the week, and the hotel for 7 nights, and the travel out to Chicago. So you're giving away like $4 or $5 grand worth of merchandise before you ever sell anything.
Exactly.
Yep.
That's crazy.
Been down that road. The prices kept going up. Like the circuit we would follow just kept going up. Like we do the fitness shows, but we do tattoo festivals and stuff like that. And it was just, it wasn't worth it, because you'd be giving away so much merchandise before you even make money.
And even dealing with, like, I know in Cleveland, there was a union issue where I usually rent showcases from a company near me, and they travel out to Cleveland for inexpensively. You can buy a 6-foot showcase or rent a showcase, but the unions won't let that company bring them into the building. You have to rent it from the convention center. It would be a $400 showcase, but you have to pay the center like $1,200 for it. So I actually brought my own showcase out to Cleveland, and my buddy did too. He had this monster showcase that I don't know how he got it out there. So I, just to save $1,200, I brought my own. But
yeah,
I think Chicago's better. I think they'll be better in Chicago.
I'd love to come to that one on the third. You said 30th, 3rd?
March 30th for the Philly, the clothing show. Yep.
I'd love to come to that. I think that'd be fun to shop.
Yeah, and the same week, I think Sean, really Perspective Show, is mentioning a non-sports show. It's the same convention center the week after that too. So try to get to that one as well.
Yeah, that would be fun for me for sure.
Yeah, no, you would enjoy that, I'm sure.
Spend too much money, Shane.
Yeah, for sure. I'd spend too much money in Keith's freaking district shows. It adds up quick, you know?
It does.
Like,
it does. Yeah.
You're like, yeah, I just got that for $2, but I bought 40 of them for $2. You know, like it adds up real quick. Like you're getting you're getting such good deals over there that it's hard to not buy. You know what I mean?
Oh, I was proud of myself. I haven't bought anything on Whatnot in a couple of weeks. Whatnot's was my addiction for a long time.
I can't go on there.
Oh yeah, it's addictive. But now District, I went to my post office and they gave me this giant plastic sack. It looked like a giant Santa sack of like envelopes and boxes. And I'm like, and my wife saw it in the warehouse. She's like, "What is that bag?" I'm like, "I don't know. Somebody gave me that at the flea market." So I didn't want to know that was all District packages, but even though it's got post office all over it.
I got a box of books I bought like 3 weeks ago. I haven't even opened it yet. I don't even remember what I bought on Whatnot. So
yeah,
I get into the whole bidding thing, and then I just buy stuff. Like I don't even need it.
And you get those alerts, right? The alerts pop up, and like I gotta go check this what this guy's selling, and you're hooked. Yeah.
Yep.
When it's funny because I'll just get back from my PO box and I'm going through, you know, like stuff I bought. And for instance, I've bought a lot from Keith because Keith sells some really cool stuff. And I'll be going through some of the stuff, and I've got a bunch of it out over here now because I'm trying to, you know, research some of it. But I'm going through it, and then I get notifications. Your order from Vintage Sport Flips has shipped, and I'm like, dang, I still haven't even received it all.
Yeah. But that stuff, that ephemera is pretty cool because I on District, I don't even look the stuff up. I know it's like probably $100 piece, but I started at $2. What it brings, it brings. Just trying to move some stuff on there, and it's been awesome. I mean, the quantity of stuff that goes out is great. So
it's been a lot of fun. I've enjoyed it.
What platform are you doing those shows on?
Both Dibbed It and First Class Treasures.
Okay.
Those two. Yep.
The
ephemera I've been doing more on First Class Treasures. I've done some on Dibbed It, but a little bit of those are the two main ones.
Yeah. I know I have like a stack. Like when I go through books, I find things in books all the time. I mean, newspaper articles and old pictures. So I just put them in this box underneath my listing station. So I probably have enough to do a show, you know, or a couple of just cool things. Pull from old books.
That's awesome.
Never because people use whatever for a bookmark.
Yeah.
You know,
well, sometimes, you know, they use $50 bills. I pulled 2 $50 bills from one book at the bins.
Dang.
Oh, wow.
That was nice.
That's a nice find there.
Yep.
And you get to sell the book.
That's every book you sell, do you flip through every page or give it like a flutter?
I do now. Once I found the $50 in there, I'm like, I better check all these books. But I'm sure I've sold a book that might have had money in there when I didn't do that. But I try to, when I'm listing them, kind of flip through them and make sure they're, see, I just found something right now. It's a little piece of paper in here, you know?
Okay.
So
one time on Whatnot, I sold an autograph copy of a book that I didn't realize was autographed until I started running it, because I don't always check everything. You know, you get so many books, and I'm running books, and I forget what the author was or who the author was or what the book was, but I'm showing it, and I'm like, I open it up to check to see if it's a first printing or whatever, and I'm like, Oh, and it's autographed. It sold for like $3. I was like,
See, when I do grab a book, I do check the first cover pages to look for autographs, even if the book's not worth money. But if I buy any autograph book, because there's going to be someone out there that's looking for that, the signature
yeah,
eventually.
yeah.
So people know that I'm looking for that stuff, so they'll come up to the bin and say, "Hey, this is autographed." All right, thank you. Like, I'm probably going to run a whole autograph show soon because I have enough to do it.
That'd be awesome.
Cool.
Just of like novels and stuff. But
I created a signed copy tag in the Crooked Spine.
Oh, you did? Okay.
So if you have any that you want to try to static sale over there, by all means,
They're not like sci-fi though, so they're just like basic novels. You know what I mean?
Gotcha. Yeah. I don't have any sci-fi, fantasy, or horror books, I think, autographed.
Yeah.
I think all the ones I have are like, like there's this one chick, Sarah Dessen or something like that is her name. I think she's kind of like a Colleen Hoover type author. But I got one of hers and a few others. Wait, I do have a copy of Dune. Which Dune is it?
It's signed?
It's not Frank Herbert though. Which one is it? It's Dune, Paul of Dune, maybe. I forget, but it's written by like Frank Herbert's nephew or something like that. It's written by two people actually, but one of them is a Herbert. It's just not the Herbert. But it's cool.
I don't know if you made it through our last podcast where I show the Hulk Hogan signed book I just found. The Hulkster.
Is that the one that came out today?
Yeah.
I haven't made it all the way. I'm like halfway through.
Well,
I'm saying.
My best book sale to date is in that show. The highest profitable book.
Oh, wow.
Nice.
Huh. To finish watching that one. Yeah, I listened on the way home from the flea market this morning, but I didn't get through the whole thing. I got to finish it up.
Yeah, no, I started listening to it because I couldn't hear half the thing, so I didn't know what was going on. So I'm like, I'll just listen to the show.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's about where I'm at, is when you start talking about how everybody's breaking up and you can't hear them and all that. So something about your internet possibly. So that's where I'm at. I think I'm about halfway through the episode.
Yeah, me too.
Cool. Well, it's nice actually recording a podcast in the day. I'm not used to this, where I'm actually awake. You
guys record at night?
7th. I was up when we recorded our podcast. We did an hour, and then we talked to Ben for an hour, and then me and Jefferson hung out for another hour. So I was up till 11:30 or 12, and I was supposed to get up at 6, and so I didn't go to the Ben's.
When it was me, Alex, Ben, and Chris, man, like we'd get on half hour early, talk about whatever, make sure we know what we're going to discuss for the show and things. And we wouldn't record till like 9 o'clock sometimes, and I had a full-time job, and like we'd be done getting off of there at 11 p.m., by the time we wrap up the recording and discuss, possibilities of title and all that kind of stuff. And I'm like, holy crap, I got to get up at 5 a.m. Like it started taking a toll. Tuesday nights were rough.
Well, it's always Wednesday. I'll get thrown off every Wednesday. I'll sleep in and I won't get to my listings, or because I'm up late, or I won't go to the bins or do anything. So that's what it
is. These daytimes just happen to work best for me, Keith and Jake, so that was part of the reason I was able to jump on board so quick, is because I didn't want anything else taking evening time away from family and stuff like that. Like I do enough of my own, doing my live show on Monday night and stuff. I didn't want to do another thing. And then like tonight, actually, we have Hops and Hits that we're streaming. So that's another thing. That's only once a month, so it's easy to schedule around that. But I didn't want another weekly thing taking evening time away.
Yeah, my wife's like, you're doing another thing, because I do a book club on Thursday nights. The Paper Gold, it's a book. Part of a bookseller club thing. So that's Thursday night, and that starts like at 8 o'clock, and that goes for 2 hours every time. So
are you going to continue that once you start the Crooked Spine podcast, or are you going to do both?
I'm down to do whatever. It's up to Shane.
Alex will have to get Max will be our first guest.
Hey, I can get a book guest every day.
Yeah.
I know about 300 to pick from. So
oh, nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, we just got
What's that?
Katie Reed's over to the Crooked Spine, so that's cool.
Ah, cool.
Okay, did you talk to her then? That's cool.
Yep. So she joined.
Nice.
So she doesn't really sell the books we sell, but live selling, sell whatever you want, so it's fine. But
She does a lot of like
she
the
She
crafting stuff. Is that what she does?
she will see her
she does
book
do
that
it.
I bought from her and whatnot, and it's on the
Ah.
Crooked Spine. Is that Stephen King set? So
Ah.
Oh, nice.
yeah,
Yeah, and you just put a Stephen King setup too, right? Keith? I
Yeah,
think
yeah.
like a
The
little 3
Signet
Carrie,
3
Salem's Lot, and something else.
I
Shining,
put
I
up
think.
I,
Shining.
I put
Yeah.
up something. I thought it was horror because it's literally about human sacrifice, but it's like real human sacrifice book. So
I
I
thought
don't
it
know
was
if you,
cool. I was checking that out.
A
yeah,
nonfiction book.
yeah, interesting find though.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah, and I put yesterday I put up a Tolkien trivia book. Like
Yeah, I saw
it's
that. I hearted
not
it.
really it's not really fantasy or whatever, but
No, but
it's
it's Tolkien though.
Tolkien and it's cool,
Yeah.
So
Yep.
so I put it up there. But yeah, I guess we've been going for an hour and a half, guys.
Yeah, yeah.
Cool.
Time
That's pretty
flies,
good.
man. We
Jake,
had good fun
we don't
conversation.
even need Jake, and we can make this work. You think Jake's gonna watch the whole thing? Yeah,
I think
he'll
so.
watch.
You got to keep him busy while he's doing listing and
Yeah,
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 sourcing.
The
Yeah.
revolving door from the locker room leads to the island.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man.
But I guess Alex, we can wrap this up. You wanna tell everybody about your social medias and your YouTube and all that?
Yeah, you can find me Beard King Picker on YouTube, trying to drop 2 videos a week, Monday and Thursday. Reseller Locker Room every Thursday morning it comes out. So yeah. And then Instagram Beard King Picker. Book Dust Media too. I have a Book Dust Media YouTube, but we haven't put out a video in like 2 months. So that's a
Been a
book.
while.
Yeah, it's a book review channel with my wife. So well, I've
I've been waiting.
I don't read any books anymore.
Yeah.
Too busy reselling. So yeah, anything like that?
How about audiobooks? Audiobooks while you're at the bins. Multitask. What do you think? An
Yeah.
audiobook guy?
I do not believe in audiobooks, and I do
Oh,
not
sorry.
believe you can say that you read that book if you listen to it, because you listen to the
Okay.
book.
Yeah, that's true. All right. That's for a
Yeah.
bookseller. That makes sense too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'm all
I've
about
always
physical
felt
media.
that way. I've always felt that way too. And even like the tablets, yeah, you're reading, but that's not a book. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're
I
reading some
like to own the
pages
book
on a
too.
tablet.
Yeah.
Yeah, I much that's we're all old enough. That's what we grew up with. Like these
Yeah.
Well, it's
younger
just like
kids today, they're growing up in the digital world,
yeah,
so
it's
they
like
don't care about
digital.
the books like we do.
It's like digital download a album. I want the album. I want the artwork and all that. So
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep, that's cool.
Makes sense.
but yeah,
All right. Well,
I appreciate
Yeah.
you guys having me on. Unfortunately, Jake said he wouldn't come on the show if I was the guest. Well, that's fine, Jake. I see how it is.
Fled the country when you came on. Yeah.
yeah, he literally left the country.
It's messed
Get
up,
as
man.
far
Yeah.
away from Alex as he could.
No, I appreciate it, guys. I had a blast.
Yeah.
So
Thanks.
thank
Yeah, it
you
was a
very
fun
much.
time, man. Thanks for joining us. How about you, Shane? What do you have coming up?
I don't really have a whole lot coming up actually. Still doing my 2 videos a week plus my Monday night live show on YouTube. Obviously I have the show with you guys that we do once a month over Hops and Hits. 5 YouTube channel streams because I don't know why I've never streamed to both my YouTube channels,
There you go.
but
Yeah,
tonight
yeah.
I am. So
Nice.
yeah, so anyways, I don't really have a whole lot going on. I have no scheduled shows over on District anywhere currently. I'm just kind of going through all the stuff I've bought from you and other people right now, listing what I can. I'm working on the new Etsy store, so that's where a lot of my focus is right now because I want to learn Etsy and see what works for me over there. Currently, still getting tons of spam emails from hello member or whatever user.
Yeah.
I forget what it says, but people trying to get me to click on stuff I'm not clicking on. But yeah, we could definitely use some more members over at the Crooked Spine and First Class Treasures, both .coms if you want to go that route. But over on the District platform, we're having a lot of fun over there. And of course, I think I can speak for Jake. Jake would love to see you guys at First Class Treasures too. So, but yeah, I don't I don't think I have anything else, Keith. Not a whole lot going on with me right now.
Okay. Well, I put out a video every Saturday, 1:00 on Vintage Sport Flips. So a picking video, flea market video. And then we have my live podcast Wednesday nights, a Pastime Picks podcast on my regular Vintage Sport Flips channel too. And also we had talked, me, Shane, and Jake over text about for the members section of this channel, putting out like some bolo or educational videos. And I'm in the process of working on the first video for that, where it's going to be like showing how to identify early photography, like the evolution of photography, daguerreotypes through cabinet photos and albumin photos. So I grabbed some stuff from my antique shop to show. So I'm going to be filming that this weekend. So
yeah, I'm looking forward to that myself, because I've been asking you tons. Even today, I was asking you questions. But yeah, so I'm looking forward to that video and anything that comes down the line. But I'm gonna have to become a member to watch it.
Yeah, I'm gonna join too to watch your guys' videos. So yeah, that'll be the member only section. So if you want to become a member to see those, there should be a link down below somewhere. So, but stay tuned for our videos every Monday morning. I think Monday 9 a.m. maybe, Shane. I forget when these drop.
Roughly. Yeah. I think it just depends on when Jake gets out of the restroom first thing in the morning or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know what his schedule is.
Yeah.
He can hit publish on the toilet.
Yeah. That's true. Yeah.
But yeah, thanks everybody for watching.
Yeah, thanks guys. Thanks, Alex.
Yeah, thanks.
See you guys next time.
See you, buddy.
See you guys.
Later, Keith.